So good for her, and congratulations to her as well. She came out quite big on the night on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's say congratulations to her team even, because they did a great job with her. You know, all the conversations about, oh, me we need that, and then people began asking questions about PACS. Who's PACS? Who's PACS? I mean, I've known her for close to 20 years, as in her songs for close to 20 years. But the time she really, became popular was around last year.
Yeah.
When she released this song. And she performed this song at Sammy Jemfi's wedding. Then she actually did the PACS Start 20 concert in Accra and Kumasi.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the gospel's music industry decided she had to be Artist of the Year. Mind you, they had actually started canvassing years ago. They canvassed for Joe Metal, and Joe Metal won. Then Diana Hamilton won.
Yep.
And so they also wanted it this time, and you had all the Table of Men thing and everything, and all the lobbying that went on at the time.
I've got to say, her team actually did a great job. Because guess what? I met her for the first time a month ago. Never heard of her before then. Right? Well, actually, no, this is not correct. I'd heard of her the day before. On radio. People saying this year, PSC Esther has to win. So when I met her, someone introduced me and said, oh, this is PSC Esther. I think Rosalind Felly introduced me. My first sentence to her was, oh, this year is your year, isn't it? Right? Yeah. So the team... their job had been done. Someone who doesn't even know her, in my mind already, I've heard the message that she's supposed to win. That's proper, brand management, and that's a good job.
And I think they also did a good job for the VGMAs. They brought a lot of hype to the event as well.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Should we get into our drive?
Why not? Yes.
All right. It's brought to us by John Eason Multimedia Group, supported by Toyota Superior Quality, Imperial General Assurance, Solid Protection. Avoid all distractions. Keep both eyes on the road and hands on the steering wheel. Drive safe.
Let's learn how to say it right now. It's brought to us by Kingdom Books. That Kingdom quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
Something must be done.
You say either. I say either.
I must confess, I'm not quite at my zenith this morning. It feels like I might be coming down with something. I even had my temperature checked. It was barely 36 degrees Celsius, though. Thank goodness I don't have a fever. That reminds me, let's talk about the true meaning of the word fever. It seems many people think fever is a disease. In fact, some use fever as a synonym for malaria. Actually, a fever is simply an abnormally high temperature. Anything above 38 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit, if you're feeling American, would describe a fever. Now, a fever comes with a number of symptoms like shivering, body pains, headaches, and in extreme cases, hallucinations. So body temperatures ranging from 37 to 39 degrees Celsius would be termed a mild fever. If it's between 39 and 42 degrees Celsius, that's a high fever. Several things can cause a fever. A viral infection like the flu or COVID-19, bacterial infections like pneumonia or urinary tract infections, heat stroke, tumors, and tropical diseases like typhoid and malaria can all cause fevers. Okay, that's enough of my Florence Nightingale act for one day. So it's clear now, a fever is a symptom, not a disease. And that is how you say it right. All right. So it's Monday, which means obviously we've come from a weekend where we had news file. So before we get into the newspapers brought to us by First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different, let's do a quick wrap of news file. And of course, we heard from several voices. Suleimana Brahma believed that there are sections of the Electronic Communications Act which have contributed to media violations and abuse of journalists, and should therefore be repealed. Deputy Minister for Information, Fatimatu Abubakar, said, no. Even though that may be a legitimate concern, the laws are not meant only for journalists. Then, of course, Samuel Kojo was putting it all at the foot of government, saying they should take responsibility for the decline in media freedom in the country. He says, look, cabinet should actually be tabling this to deal with and figure out a way forward. Let's hear them all.
The laws haven't changed. Curiously or ironically, the man who was saying this in 2011 today is the president of our country. And under his regime, these laws are being applied more than any other regime in the Fourth Republic. So the question is, what has changed? And for me, these are the reasons why Ghana keeps dropping in the global press freedom ranking. Very, very unfortunately. The Media Foundation joined the GJA, the GIBA and PRIMPAC and GCRN in making a common and a unanimous appeal that those laws have to be repealed and basically affirming the position of candidate Akufo-Addo, now President Akufo-Addo, as far as the application of those laws are concerned.
We are saying that it is not only journalists who are affected by these laws. If we are saying that there are instances that the only available solution is criminal action, how are we able to divorce the operations of journalists from the general laws that are supposed to affect, let's say, a pastor or imam?
So what will you say? What will you say that you have done? You have done in your office as the information ministry to engender some, or to sort of give advice for police or the security to avoid the abuse that they are engaged in, particularly using these two laws?
The police have a mandate, and that is law enforcement. If there are laws sitting in our statute books and people have confidence in it to walk to the police station to write complaints with respect to those laws, it will be unfair that when they implement those laws, the lawmakers like Honorable Okujeto, the executive like myself, and other stakeholders will now turn around and say, why did you implement those laws?
It's quite ironic because we now are being led by key people who you say that they should understand these things better. They need to take this report to cabinet, discuss it, and say all of these excesses that some of these institutions exhibit. We are in charge. We are the executive. There has to be new policy, new guidelines that they must follow. You cannot continue on this trajectory. Because you see, all of these things, don't underestimate the impact, even when it comes to attracting investment.
That's right.
You know, when it comes to people deciding where should I go and do business, and many other, credentials that will help to not only boost our image, but also advance our transformation aspirations.
There you go. So that's how it all unfolded. I don't know what you guys think. We've dropped 2 more places, right?
Yeah.
In the global rankings. Is there real evidence of the practice of a decline in the freedom that we enjoy as media? Do you feel it, that we have actually become less of a free country for the press?
Well, I think the evidence is out there for all of us to see today. If I'm to quote, for instance, what Sam Jonas said, it's not only the fear of being jailed. Of course, you're not going to be jailed but it's even the fear of even being attacked is real. It's not just about physical attack; it's even about the verbal abuse. Not everybody can withstand that. So that in itself will tell you that. Look, today, it's like you criticize, and all of a sudden, you've attack dogs at your doorstep. Yeah.
And I think Sulemana Brahma was right when he said that the government seems to be living in some self-denial. So you keep saying it, they keep denying it, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, and it's funny. The government actually acts like they are the victims. They act like they are the victims of some kind of smear campaign by the press. And it's not just this government. Every government seems to do that, right? They think that somehow, because we don't sing their praises, so we are actually, we are slandering them We're making them seem like they are doing nothing good and so forth. So, I mean, look at it. When we decided to give feedback on free SHS on the Super Morning Show, what did we hear? That we have launched a campaign against, the presidency. It's an attitude that government has. And as long as they think that way, I don't think they'll do anything to make it easier for the media to do their job, if they think it's us against them. All right, let's get into the paper.
Yes, let's get into the paper, starting off with the daily graphic for today and Graphic Lands Ministry Dialogue. Experts explore natural resource challenges. And so the Graphic and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources will be organizing, a dialogue from Thursday to Friday on, how to deal with the challenges facing our natural resources, particularly the Galamsey Ministry. And I'm told that, Lands and Natural Resources Minister will be presenting a policy. The President will be there. And I'll be there too. I think I'll be moderating.
I just hope that this will not be another nice policy that we're launching. We say all the nice things. We pretend that we're really committed. And then it becomes nothing really.
Exactly, you're right. So I'll be there. I'll be emceeing the conversations and moderating a thing or two. But
give us the pointers afterwards, because we really want to hold them to the commitment that they make on that stage.
I will, my dearest Mama. I know you're in a hurry to do the back page of the Ghanaian Times, but let's still stay with the Graphic. And this is something that's of concern to me. Stroke cases rising among young people.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're talking about this one just last Friday.
Yes. Now, the Daily Graphic says that, look, Ghana is recording more cases of stroke among young people of 40 years and below. The acting program manager of the non-communicable disease of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Efua Kome, has said. Now, she said all those stroke cases were previously recorded mainly in people aged between 80 and 90. Local hospitals were now recording them in people as young as 35 years to 40 years. And she's been talking about the causes, the fact that many of these young people were stressed out. It is pressure from school, pressure from work, pressure from home, pressure from everywhere. And on top of these stresses, closing quite late from work and getting home late before eating in the night.
Several people that we know have been struck down by this. Sadly, some of them lost their lives. And we know, right here in our workplace, it's happened.
Yeah.
And it's not just here. And these people are young. They are less than 50. In some cases, less than 40. How do you die of a stroke when you are young? Well, anyway, this is something we need to spend some more time on. We need to try and figure out what it is that is making younger people more susceptible to this thing. A clot of blood in your system, the wrong place, wrong time, and you're gone.
Yeah. Listen, we're all chasing money. What should be the number one thing, though?
Well, we'll talk about this. I'm sure we should do this in the course of the week. 3-story buildings collapse in a week. Fear there's a lack of supervision. And back page, I'll leave that for Mama V. She'll tell us more about the matches.
Please don't leave it to me.
Oh, okay, so the back page. Back page. Tete's late goal denies Asante Kotoko victory. So Kotoko drew 1-1. And Summertex beats Hearts with Sedu strike. Oh, fantastic. Summertex.
You didn't know that story was also there. Well, the Ghanaian Times newspaper is reporting of this tragedy. A senior officer runs amok, shoots dead junior colleague, and this is just one of those incidents that it gets you thinking. This is a senior police officer who is alleged to have done this. Actually, the head of Western North Police Intelligence Units is said to have shot Constable David Batsi while on their way for an assignment at Awaso in the Bibiani Aviaso Bekwai municipality. And according to the details, he shot him at close range with a service pistol. Service pistol is supposed to protect the citizens, not to be used on another officer.
Mental health.
Well, so this is under
We are
investigations.
giving just anybody a gun.
And then, of course, President Otumfuo attend coronation of King Charles III, Queen
lovely,
Camilla in London. All hail the king. And then Ghanaian woman stabbed to death also in the UK, only 31 years. Well, basically, I'm good.
Let me quickly do the Business and Financial Times. And it says, agriculture, end of an era as Ministry of Food and Agriculture scraps planting for food and jobs subsidy. Now, the story talks about the fact that they are, looking at new ways of subsidizing fertilizer, not the current system, and so that would actually happen this year. And domestic cocoa production surpasses Ivory Coast. Let's get to the online news review then.
It's brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy.
And Goyle, your oil marketing company of choice, keeps making life so convenient for you. Goyle now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases, which means all you can do is just use your bank card. And that is not all bank cards to buy fuel at Goyle. Drive to the nearest Goyle station now, buy your fuel, pay by Momo, bank card, or Goyle Go card. Visit Goyle social media platforms, Facebook, Goyle.official, Instagram, Goyle_GH, and on Twitter, Goyle_official for more information. On the service stations, you can conveniently use Momo. Goyle, Good Energy, Goyle. Yeah.
And if you're looking to bank the easy way, then join Zenith Bank's Easy Banking family. Download the Z Mobile Ghana app, log on to the individual or corporate internet banking platforms, or simply dial *966# to enjoy seamless banking on the go. You can make transfers, top up airtime, pay bills, pay for goods and services, and so much more. Join the Easy Banking family and experience easy banking with Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. What's online, Kojo?
Well, this morning, anti-gay coalition backs 7 NDC MPs to sail through primaries. Okay. Different lobbying groups forming now. There's an anti-gay coalition that's backing some MPs. Senior police officer allegedly kills junior in Western North region. That's one we've spoken about. Some great pictures from the coronation available on myjoyonline.com. Go check that out as well. And I think it's time now for the BBC News.